Chosen one, stop scrolling right now. Do not let your mind wander, and do not swipe away. A secret conversation about you just ended in the courts of heaven, and someone walked out in absolute shock. What you did in the last 72 hours may have looked ordinary to you. It may have looked small and almost invisible to the people around you, but heaven recorded it as thunder. You made a quiet decision to choose peace when you had every right to choose war. You walked away without defending yourself, and you thought no one noticed. God noticed, and he is completely stunned by what you just did. This entire message is yours. It costs you nothing. I prepared it because it was placed on my heart, and not because anything is expected of you in return. You did not find this video by coincidence. The algorithm did not bring you here. The Holy Spirit arranged this exact encounter because that quiet action you took just activated a massive spiritual relocation order. Heaven is currently rearranging coordinates to compensate you for the battles you fought in absolute silence. But there is a reason you cannot feel it yet. You know something massive is shifting. You feel it in your spirit. But physically, you are exhausted. You wake up between 3 and 4 in the morning with a heavy pressure in your chest. You walk into a room and immediately feel the invisible weight of other people. You thought you were just tired. You thought you were losing your edge, or maybe just aging. I need to reframe your reality right now, because what you are experiencing is not a character flaw, it is a theft. Take a deep breath and lock your attention right here. Before we go any further, I want you to hold a specific number in your mind. That number won the most prestigious prize in science in 1981. And when you hear what it means for the way your mind was designed to work, you will understand why everything I have said so far is not poetry. It is architecture. A small group of neuroscientists led by a doctor in New York named Daniel Barone spent 20 years studying this. They found something about the way the human brain is designed that explains what spiritually sensitive people have felt but have never been able to name. Something so fundamental, it traces back to that Nobel Prize, yet so simple, it sounds almost suspicious. I am going to tell you exactly what they found later in this message. But right now, hold this one question. What if the reason your mind feels foggy is not a lack of discipline, but because something was literally taken from you at the neural level? Listen carefully, because this next part is going to reach places inside you that you have never been able to put into words. Let us talk about the deep exhaustion you have been carrying. This is not just about being sleepy. This is the kind of tired that sits deep in your bones and settles heavy in your soul. You have tried to fix it with rest, but you wake up just as drained as when you closed your eyes. You have spent years being the emotional sponge for everyone around you. You became the universal problem solver and the one who carries the heavy atmosphere of the room so others do not have to. You thought this was just your personality. You thought you were simply an empath absorbing the pain of the world. But that immense weight you are carrying is not normal, and it is not yours to keep. I want you to remember who you used to be before the world told you to quiet down. Think back to when you were younger. Your mind was incredibly sharp and your intuition was flawless. You were naturally creative and you could see solutions that other people completely missed. You operated on a frequency of pure genius. But lately something has fundamentally changed. You find yourself losing words in the middle of a sentence. You walk into rooms and forget why you are there. A thick, heavy fog has settled over your mind, and you have slowly accepted it as your new normal. You tell yourself it is just stress, or getting older, or having too many responsibilities. Do not accept that lie for one more second. This fog does not just affect your memory or your focus, it directly affects your spiritual connection. You know exactly what I mean. You sit down to pray, and it feels like you are talking to a solid brass ceiling. The words leave your mouth, but they do not seem to land anywhere. You see other people receiving their breakthroughs, and you wonder if heaven simply forgot your address. You feel profoundly isolated, even when you are standing in a crowded room, surrounded by people who claim to love you. They love the version of you that serves them and fixes their problems, but they do not understand the deep loneliness of the calling you carry inside. Do not swipe away right now. Every single second you stay connected to this message, more of that heavy fog is being pulled back. You are not just passively listening to a video today. You are actively participating in your own spiritual and neurological restoration. The enemy wants you to get bored and leave this page. He wants you to think you do not have time for this message. But the truth is, you cannot afford to miss what heaven is doing in this exact moment. What you are feeling is not a medical condition to be ashamed of. You are not losing your mind, and you are certainly not broken. The problem is not the sender, the problem is your receiver. Heaven is constantly transmitting favor and abundance. The Holy Spirit is constantly broadcasting instructions, warnings, and divine blueprints for your financial and spiritual relocation. But if your biological receiver is running on partial capacity, the signal gets completely lost in the static. Imagine trying to catch a high-definition emergency broadcast on a broken radio. The message is critical, but all you hear is white noise. That is exactly what is happening in your life right now. The pressure you feel in your chest is the physical friction between a massive spiritual calling and a biological receiver that has been systematically jammed by the modern world. Society and the unseen enemy have worked together to suppress your original frequency. They want you operating on a tiny fraction of your actual brain power, because a fully awakened chosen one is the most dangerous force on this earth. They do not want you to realize that your physical brain was meticulously designed to translate spiritual realities into physical miracles. They want you tired, so you never discover how powerful you really are. If you feel a sudden warmth in your chest right now, that is your spirit recognizing the truth. It is time to draw a line in the sand and claim your restoration. I want you to go to the comments right now and type the numbers 777 to claim this healing. Type, "I am ready to receive," to signal heaven that you are stepping out of the fog and back into your rightful power. This is not just a comment on a video. It is a physical act of obedience that registers permanently in the unseen realm. Once you make that declaration, everything begins to shift. The season of walking in circles is officially closing. The days of feeling like a victim of your own empathy are finally over. But to step into the clearing, you have to understand the exact weapon the enemy used to disrupt your signal in the first place. And you have to understand why your silence, the very thing you thought made you weak, is actually the trigger for your greatest victory. What you are feeling right now, that's stirring deep inside, is not nostalgia. It is the sound of a new accounting period opening in your life. Everything before this moment belongs to a version of your mind that was operating without what it was designed to have. Everything after this moment does not have to be the same. Today is not an ordinary day on the calendar. It is a strict boundary drawn in the spiritual realm between the season of your exhaustion and the season of your elevation. You have carried the heavy weight of your bloodline for decades, but you are about to step into the reward of a true cycle breaker. The survival identity you have worn for so long is finally coming off. Let me reframe your reality right now, because you have been reading the signs completely backwards. The world told you that your silence was a fatal weakness. When you walked away from conflict without defending yourself, people assumed you were just a pushover who lacked courage. They thought they won because you did not fight back with their weapons. But heaven calls your restraint a lethal spiritual weapon. Your ability to choose peace while surrounded by extreme toxicity is exactly what stunned the courts of heaven. You did not lose the battle. You passed a massive spiritual test that most people fail because you refused to lower your frequency to match their chaos. Because you operated at such a high frequency, the enemy realized he could not defeat your spirit directly. So he targeted something else entirely. He targeted your biology. The brain fog, the memory lapses, and the chronic exhaustion you feel are not signs of getting older or being stressed out. They are the direct results of a calculated theft at the neural level. The enemy recognized the massive calling on your life and realized that if your brain operated at its full capacity, you would be absolutely unstoppable. So modern life and dark spiritual forces conspired to shut down your original frequency and keep your biological receiver jammed. They turned your empathy into a heavy burden. Listen to me very carefully right now. The closer you get to true clarity, the stronger the pull will be to return to distraction. If you feel an urge to scroll away from this video, or if you suddenly feel bored or distracted, that is not your own thought. The enemy rarely attacks hardest when you are stagnant. He attacks hardest when you are inches away from a massive elevation. He is terrified of what happens if you stay and hear the rest of this truth, so he is actively trying to pull you back into the noise. Resist that pull with everything you have and lock your focus here. Your gentleness was never meant to be your ceiling. It was always meant to be your absolute foundation. You were never meant to be tamed by the opinions of people who cannot even perceive the spiritual realm around them. You were meant to be trusted with unprecedented kingdom authority. The dark forces tried to use your beautiful empathy against you by overwhelming your nervous system with other people and their endless problems. He wanted you so drained by fixing everyone else that you would never have the energy to step into your own divine assignment. He wanted you exhausted so you would never realize you are a celestial warrior operating in enemy territory. That is exactly why your tolerance for certain people and environments has drastically changed in the last few weeks. You might have noticed that you can no longer sit in the same rooms you used to enjoy, and certain conversations literally drain the life out of you within minutes. You feel a physical repulsion to fake energy, and you cannot pretend to be happy around hidden agendas anymore. There is a profound neurological and spiritual reason for this sudden shift in your tolerance. In just a moment, I am going to explain exactly why this is happening and how that Nobel Prize-winning research I mentioned earlier holds the exact key to reversing your exhaustion completely. You have been taught to separate your spiritual life from your physical body for far too long. You thought that if you just prayed harder or believed more deeply, the intense physical exhaustion would magically disappear. But heaven does not bypass the biology it created. The Creator designed your physical brain to be the exact instrument that translates divine instruction into physical reality. Your nervous system has been absorbing the shockwaves of spiritual warfare for years without any protection. When your biological receiver is running on partial capacity due to the endless noise of this world, the spiritual signal gets completely scattered. This is exactly why your tolerance for fake energy vanished so quickly. Your spirit is demanding a complete neurological realignment so you can actually hold the immense blessing that is coming. This brings us to a profound truth that was proven in a research laboratory and awarded the Nobel Prize in 1981. Dr. Roger Sperry discovered something groundbreaking about the human brain and the two hemispheres that govern our reality. He proved that the brain was fundamentally designed to operate in a state of perfect synchronization. The left side of logic and the right side of divine intuition were meant to work as a unified and unstoppable force. This is not just a medical fact. It is the biological blueprint of a chosen vessel. When both hemispheres are firing together, you enter a state of whole brain activation. This is the exact state where profound clarity, deep peace, and sudden breakthroughs manifest instantly. Chosen one, pay close attention right here. Anointed one, anchor your spirit to what I am saying. Research shows that 98% of children operate at this incredible level of creative genius. They live in a state of natural whole brain activation where they simply know things without having to explain them. But by the time we reach adulthood, less than 1 in 1,000 people still maintain that capacity. It was not lost by accident. The modern way of life, the stress of daily survival, and the constant demands of toxic people systematically suppress this genius switch from the time we are born. Your power and your destiny were quite literally stolen from you at the neural level. Now I want to close the loop that has been open since the very beginning of this message. I told you there was something discovered in research laboratories that I was going to come back to. I asked you to hold the question of what was taken from you and how it could be returned. I want to tell you now why I waited until this exact moment to bring it forward. Because what they found is not just interesting information. What they found is a tangible solution. And a solution only becomes useful once you completely understand the full shape of the problem it solves. You now understand the true shape of your exhaustion. The receiving condition you are currently experiencing is completely restorable. You do not fix this by trying harder or by adding another exhausting practice to your daily routine. You do not fix it by pretending the heavy fog is not there or by pushing through the pain. It is restored through a specific neurological repair that aligns exactly with how heaven designed you to function. When the receiver is repaired, the static disappears and the divine signal becomes crystal clear. The only thing that stands between you and the full reception of what God has arranged is the biological condition of your receiver at the moment the blessing arrives. There is a reason why your closest friends suddenly walked away without an explanation and why you have felt so completely isolated lately. It was not your fault, and it was definitely not a punishment. The enemy wants you to focus on the pain of isolation, so you miss the revelation of your preparation. Let me tell you something that will finally make sense of years of exhaustion and reveal the exact tool to fix it. But first, you must understand what happened in the spiritual realm behind closed doors. I am going to show you the specific blueprint heaven used to clear your room in just a moment. You made a quiet decision to choose peace when they fully expected a loud reaction. That silent obedience cracked a generational cycle that has followed your bloodline for decades. Heaven instantly issued a divine relocation order for your finances and your peace of mind. But the enemy panicked when he saw the decree released from the throne room. He knew he could not stop the blessing from arriving, so he aggressively attacked your physical receiver to make sure you could not perceive the open door. That is why the profound mental fog and exhaustion hit you so hard over the last 72 hours. Many people would have walked away when the words became uncomfortable today, but you remained, and that matters more than you realize. You have passed a massive test of discernment, and you have resisted the temptation to rush back into the noise. Everything I have shared until now was freely given because it was placed on my heart. But what comes next is fundamentally different. It is a physical path and not just a spiritual gift. A path always requires a step, and the cost of this specific path is so low that many people assume there must be a catch. What I am about to show you is going to connect something you have felt in your own experience with something discovered in a clinical research laboratory. And that connection is going to explain something about your life that nothing else has quite explained before. Do you remember the question I asked you to hold at the beginning of this message about the Nobel Prize? Here is the exact answer to why your mind feels so heavy and how it can be permanently restored without years of struggle. In 1981, Dr. Roger Sperry received the Nobel Prize for his groundbreaking split-brain research. His work proved that the two hemispheres of the human brain were meticulously designed for perfect synchronization. When they operate together, you enter a state of whole brain activation, which is the biological equivalent of an open heaven. 98% of children naturally operate at this creative genius level, but due to the relentless stress and toxic frequencies of modern survival, less than 1 in 1,000 adults maintain it. Your spiritual fog is not a failure of your faith, but a physiological reality of a disconnected neural hemisphere. A woman from California described what it felt like before she found the solution I am about to share. She had tried everything from endless prayer to rigorous fasting and every spiritual practice her community offered. But she kept arriving at the exact same experience of feeling entirely numb. She believed the divine words, but she could not feel the reality behind them in her physical body. After 10 days of using this specific protocol, she said a heavy channel that had been blocked was suddenly thrown wide open. Not because she tried harder, but because the physical receiver had been completely repaired. A man from Texas described something incredibly similar to her experience. He had spent years holding things together for everyone around him, while his own interior life became thin and incredibly distant. He said his daily prayer had started to feel like talking into a solid brick wall. The spiritual frequency was right, but his biological receiver was completely offline. 2 weeks later, he woke up and described his mind as running on all of what it was supposed to run on. The deep mental fog that had been so consistent, he stopped registering it as fog was finally gone. That is exactly because of what the research team I am about to describe spent years building. A team of neuroscientists led by Dr. Daniel Barone in New York took over an hour of clinical neural sync technology used in specialized medical settings and turned it into an 8-minute targeted auditory sequence. 8 minutes a day with headphones and your eyes closed is the entirety of the physical requirement. They call it the Genius Switch. The Genius Switch is not a meditation app or a basic sound frequency designed to put you in a particular mood. It is a targeted sequence specifically engineered to reconnect the two hemispheres and restore the whole brain activation that was your default state in childhood. If you have used binaural beats or brainwave products before and found them underwhelming, Dr. Barone addresses this directly. Brainwave products target only a fraction of the picture because sound waves alone are completely incomplete. What he and his team built targets hemisphere synchronization at the whole brain level using a clinical protocol. I need you to stay with me right here, because if you leave this message now, you are walking away just as the door opens and you are letting the enemy close it for you. This is a completely different mechanism, and it produces a profoundly different category of result. The Genius Switch is not for everyone. It is for the chosen one who understands that heaven prepared not only the massive promise, but the physical mind that must walk into it. It is for the person who has been sincere for years and who is finally willing to stop treating the mental fog as a character flaw. 18,456. That is not a commercial sales number. That is the exact size of the community of chosen ones who decided their mind deserved what their spirit already claimed. The one who joins them does not become part of a customer list, but rather they complete something profound. Colleagues in the medical field suggested this would be incredible value, even at $500, since in-person neurofeedback sessions cost $300 an hour. But it was not released at $500 or even $100. Today, on his official page, it is accessible for $39. Let me put this differently, not in terms of what your genius switch costs, but in terms of what not having it costs. $39 is not the price, but rather the physical gap between what you are currently experiencing and what you were designed to operate as. The true price is what you have already been paying every single day. The synchronization stays disrupted. It is backed by an unconditional money-back guarantee. Listen once or listen 80 times, and if it does not do what it has done for 18,000 people, every dollar is returned with no conditions. It also comes with 4 free bonuses, including a guided visualization and a classic manifestation text. The $39 price is not guaranteed beyond this page because the team has communicated that the access cost will increase. The provision God has already placed near you becomes visible in the synchronized state in a way it does not in the partial state. What has been arranged for you is already in motion, and the only question is whether you arrive at the meeting point with the receiver online. One thing is absolutely worth naming directly. If you search the internet for the Genius Switch, you will find tracks that carry the name, but most have no neural sync technology embedded at all. The barrier to labeling something that way is essentially zero, but the actual mechanism is what makes the difference. The direct page is the only verified source. If your spirit resonates with what has been described, the link in the description below and in the pinned comment points to where Dr. Barone and his team made it available. You can read everything on their page before making any physical decision. The tool does not replace the creator. The tool does not replace your spiritual obedience, and it does not surrender for you. What heaven is doing in you is not conditional on any physical tool, but a tool that restores the biological receiver, gives what heaven is doing more of what it was designed to land in. Listen carefully, because this next part is going to reach places inside you that you have never been able to put into words. The deeper current of this message is exactly where we return right now. In the next 14 days, you are going to witness a massive and undeniable shift. The heavy cloud that has been sitting behind your eyes will completely evaporate. Heaven is dispatching a profound financial and spiritual compensation for every single day you spent in the wilderness. You will wake up with a clarity you have not felt since childhood, and the doors that were stubbornly shut will swing wide open. The enemy knows this is your new reality, and he is terrified of the moves you are about to make. A man from Seattle wrote just 3 words to the research team after his 2nd week of this exact restoration. He said the fog lifted. And for the chosen one who felt something stir when the mind was mentioned earlier, that door is still open in the description. It is a small step, but small steps taken from a clear mind have changed entire seasons. Your genius switch is waiting for you in the pinned comment for those whose spirit confirmed it. That is the only place I will mention it, because what remains in this message belongs entirely to something much deeper. Notice your breathing right now. Take a deep breath and pay attention to how your shoulders just dropped and how your chest feels slightly lighter. That calm is not something you created on your own, and it is not a coincidence. That is the physical sensation of the first spiritual seal being removed from your life. Heaven is actively recalibrating your nervous system as you listen to these words. Do not ignore the physical confirmation your body is giving you in this exact moment. You have stayed through the entirety of this message, and that is not an accident. That is not passive, and that is not just entertainment. That is a deliberate decision your spirit made before your physical mind even caught up. Decisions that begin in the spirit do not end with the video, but they end with the obedient step. Many people would have walked away when the revelation became uncomfortable, but you remained, and that matters more than you realize. You are deeply investing in your own healing, and heaven honors that exact level of obedience. Before we move into the final sealing, you must understand the gravity of this exact moment. If you walk away now, you risk reopening an exit that God has already sealed shut. If you leave before the final decree is spoken, you walk out of the room right before your name is called for the ultimate promotion. Do not let a sudden distraction steal the miracle you have waited years to receive. Anchor your spirit right here, because we are about to lock this transition into your permanent reality. Take a slow, deep breath and release the heavy armor you have been wearing for years. You do not have to fight the battles of everyone around you anymore. The watchman is allowed to rest, and heaven is stepping in to fight for you now. Place your hand on your heart right now and whisper the words I receive. That physical act of agreement permanently seals heaven's decree into your physical body and shuts the door on the enemy. Speak this out loud with me right now. I am the cycle breaker heaven has been waiting for. I release the survival identity that was handed to me by the trauma of my bloodline. I am no longer a victim of a heavy atmosphere. I am the celestial warrior that shifts the atmosphere the moment I walk into a room. My silence is my weapon, and my restored mind is my ultimate victory. The generational cycle officially ends with me. And now, standing in this place of absolute clarity, if your spirit confirmed what was described earlier, the door has not closed. You may leave a quiet amen in the comments below as a sign of your agreement and not out of obligation. If you feel led, you may subscribe to this channel and share this message with someone who has been unusually quiet lately, because this might be the exact confirmation they have been praying for. Do so only as an extension of your alignment and never out of pressure. You have officially passed the test of discernment. Close your eyes for one more moment. Imagine waking up 14 days from now. The fog that has been sitting behind your eyes for months is completely gone. The prayer that felt like it was hitting a brass ceiling is finally landing. The decision you have been circling for years is completely clear. That version of you is not hypothetical. That is the exact version 18,000 people describe after the biological receiver was fully restored. Now we come to the last door, the one I named earlier and have not returned to since. It has not moved, and everything that was waiting behind it is exactly what it was when I first described it. Your genius switch is $39 to walk through, with a guarantee that costs you absolutely nothing to try, and a lifetime of clarity waiting on the other side. The true price is not $39, but what you have already been paying every single day you stayed in the fog. You have my complete permission to invest in yourself. Not because I am your authority, but because I have watched too many chosen ones treat $39 as an extravagance while they spend their entire capacity covering the needs of everyone else. The path to it is in the description below and in the comment pinned to this video. Both point to the exact same door, and neither one will move if you try to come back and look for it tomorrow. And for the one whose spirit asks what comes after this door, there is a second door. They call it youthful brain, and it will find you when you are truly ready. Go into this new season with absolute peace and unshakable confidence. The unseen war is over, and your mind is finally yours again.